All right, let's get this thing started. I'm excited to welcome you all to the APWA Silicon Valley Chapter Awards event for 2020 to recognize people and projects from last year. And this is an extra special awards event because we're virtual. Isn't that special? But in all honesty, it is going to be a little different this year, obviously. And we'll try to make it as close to normal as we can. If you turn on your video cameras, I see a lot of you already have, it sort of feels like we're in the same room, kind of like it has in the past. My name is Jason Mansfield. I'm your president this year, and I'm excited to share a few introductions and information with you today, and then we'll get going with the awards event. Of course, we do wish it was all in person like normal, but we'll make the best of it. Because it is virtual and we've got a number of people on here, I'm just going to mute everybody, and as everybody comes in, they're muted, and I'll keep muting people in case you accidentally turn it off or that sort of thing. So nothing personal, just so that we can keep it organized. If you do have any comments or questions, feel free to use the chat function. That's always helpful. And then, of course, and you may have seen it in the notification, but we'll have a raffle at the end. So we'll raffle off a $50 Amazon gift card, but you have to be present to win. So just keep that in mind. A few announcements that we did actually have a rodeo this year. You may or may not be familiar with it. And actually, I see Rick's got an image from the event on September 30th. It's sort of a little exercise with our operators, and they go through a course with the equipment to drop balls in certain things or drag buckets here and there. And it's a challenging little course. Traditionally, the winners from our local rodeo would go to the national rodeo at APWA's PWX event that's held in different locations throughout the country every year. This year, there is no in-person PWX, so there's no national rodeo we can send them to. But we certainly want to recognize the winners of our event. So we'll do that a little bit later. We actually live streamed the event, which was fun and different. And we have a recording on YouTube. So feel free to go search for it on YouTube. And it's a fun, interesting, different kind of event. Other things, other announcements, next month on our regular meeting time, the third Wednesday of the month, we're going to have a roundtable of public works directors talking about their experience with the latest changes in streets. Some may say they're slow streets, closed streets. You may have heard different terms of it, but it's an opportunity during the pandemic with fewer cars on the road to do different things and to try and get outdoor seating for restaurants, to put a focus on bicycling and in the neighborhoods and that sort of thing. So we're going to hear about some experiences for that next month. That should be an exciting event there. We hope to see you there. Also, we still want to focus on giving back to the community, contributing. One thing we've done in the past, every year actually, at our holiday party is a toy drive. And you may or may not have participated in it in the past, but we hope that maybe with the virtual version of it, we can get even more participation. So we're looking to do a toy drive still this year, and maybe a food drive, try and do different things that might substitute for our in-person events. I want to welcome some new members for our chapter this year, or this month. In the past month, we've had a number of new members actually from the city of Mountain View. Thank you, Lisa, for your recruiting efforts. We have Ria Lowe, Lorenzo Lopez, Ashraf Shah, and Tina Sang. So welcome to our chapter, and thanks for becoming members. And we also have our chapter supporters that we like to recognize. It isn't without those chapter supporters, our chapter wouldn't be as strong as it is today. We wouldn't be able to host events like we do and send, for instance, send our rodeo winners to the national rodeo, things like that. So we like to recognize our chapter supporters, give them a couple minutes to talk about their company. And this month we've got Fryer and Loretta. I'm looking for Jeff here on the screen. There he is.
Hey,
I can
Jason.
make you a co-host here. And then that way you can give your presentation. So we'd like to hear a little bit from Jeff.
Great. Thanks, Jason. And let me get a few slides up here for everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to chat with everybody. We really appreciate the opportunity to be part of the chapter and be a sponsor. So just want to tell you a little bit about Fryer and Loretta. We were founded in 1997 by David Fryer and Rich Loretta. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is that actually our first two clients are still clients today. That's something that, I know all consultants think of, the level of service that we provide. And so we really enjoy the fact that we still get to work with West Bay Sanitary District and East Palo Alto Sanitary District. And since our founding in 1997, from starting in David's garage to this year, we have three offices in San Mateo, San Francisco, and Oakland. We provide a wide range of civil engineering services, focusing on infrastructure, but we also do support development projects throughout the Bay Area. One of the things that we recognize is the importance of connecting with clients and really leveraging our experience with similar projects as we get to work with all of you. And we've got a vast experience in particular San Mateo and Santa Clara counties, and we like to bring our breadth of experience and knowledge to help problem solve, work with you, and kind of roll up our sleeves and develop solutions that work for everybody. So just some of our clients, we've again highlighted there, West Bay and East Palo Alto Sanitary Districts, our first two clients. There's a number of folks on the call today that we get to work with every year. And, it's always fun to work on projects together and attend events like this to celebrate this success that we've all had in the past year. So just a little bit more about kind of specific projects. What you see on the screen here are sanitary sewer experience, from backyard sewer main replacement projects using pipe bursting to new pump stations, to even, complicated trenchless crossings for the city of San Mateo, where we actually had to cross both not only El Camino Real, but also the Caltrans 25th Avenue crossing. And in fact, when we did the design for the 25th Avenue Sanitary Sewer Relief Project, we had to account for what at that time was going to be a future grade separation. And right now I understand they are going through and constructing that grade separation. And so far they haven't exposed our pipe. So I guess we were pretty successful there. So we also provide storm drain services from green infrastructure and low impact development for residential developments, such as the Dominican Sisters of Mercy Priory Replacement Project, but also working with communities like Burlingame to develop not only local storm drain relief projects to mitigate local flooding and ponding issues, but also larger regional projects where we have to develop high flow diversion projects. And for our potable water experience, we've been fortunate enough to work on a wide variety of projects, both in San Francisco and San Mateo. For San Francisco, not only have we worked on infrastructure projects to support the campus in Mission Bay for UCSF, but also as their master civil engineer, we're able to support all their campuses throughout San Francisco. We have experience with water modeling, like we've done for City of Menlo Park, as we develop the design criteria for their Independence Drive water main replacement project, needing to accommodate future development that was planned for the area. And finally, one of the fun projects we got to work on is to supporting the Chase Center development. We didn't get to work directly for the Warriors, but we got to work for the master developer in Mission Bay, developing all the streets and infrastructure to support the arena. And finally, we also provide a variety of staff augmentation services, including construction management and inspection. We love partnering with agencies and supporting staff to help deliver specific projects, such as the City of East Palo Alto's Gloria Way water treatment project, but also work on inspection projects, both with the City of Los Altos and the town of Los Altos Hills. And recently we've been engaged by the City of San Mateo to assist with program management of their street improvement program. And so that's something that we're excited to support the city as they go through and implement, $5 to $10 million of projects every year to improve the quality of pavement throughout the city. So just to close out, wanted to just highlight that we are a local firm with offices throughout San Mateo, San Francisco, and Alameda counties. We try to leverage our experience on similar projects to work with each of you to solve problems that are site specific to your needs. And we really like to work in all facets of utility projects, from the planning through construction. And so that gives us a good perspective on the drivers of a project, in terms of what are the problems we're trying to solve in terms of developing design criteria, but also once we start into construction, thinking about construction challenges that a project may present. And so we can leverage our construction management and inspection experience during the design phase to deliver a project that really works well for you. So with that, Jason, I want to turn it back over to you. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thanks so much, Jeff. We really appreciate your support and a great local firm. With that, I think I'd like to get to our keynote speaker. We are very fortunate to have Senator Jim Bell here. He represents the cities of San Jose, Campbell, Cupertino, Los Gatos, Montessorino, and Saratoga. He brings a lifetime experience of understanding our transportation, housing, and government efficiency in the state. He's been involved from the local level all the way now as a state senator, and has really been a big supporter of transportation in our region. So I can't list off enough of his accomplishments, but I'm sure he'll fill us in on a few and let us know what's going on in his world. I'm excited and happy to welcome Senator Jim Bell.
Okay, hi. Thank you, Jason. And it's good to see all the engineers out there working in public works, staff, and I appreciate all the work you do, because when I vote for the various projects, you guys actually build them. So that's so I appreciate it. In my tenure in the Senate, I served over 6 years as chairman of the Senate Transportation Committee. And over that period of time, we made some great accomplishments, and I'm really proud of. Let's start with our biggest accomplishment, and that's the passage and upholding by the voters of SB1. And as the author of SB1, we spent about 2.5 years working on this measure, countless hours of negotiating, discussions with transportation leaders and political leaders throughout the state. In the end, we were able to secure a beginning at $5.4 billion. Now I think it's up to $6 billion annual spending plan to address the state and road maintenance backlog. The state hasn't increased in any kind of revenue for that in 25 years, since I think it was 1993 was the last one they did. And it also addressed transit and local streets and roads. So all the local governments, the transit districts, and the state highway systems benefit. We also gave some money to the universities for transportation research, and I think that's really important. We gotta look ahead and have like the University of Texas. I don't know if you know these research institutes, Michigan. All those states have research institutes that do studies on transportation, infrastructure, other kinds of needs and evaluation. So that's really important that California established that. So we put in SB1 a university research component. Last year, we authored SB 595. This has been in newspapers recently. This is the regional measure 3 it was approved by the voters in the Bay Area to generate about $4.5 billion, raising the tolls on 7 Bay Area bridges. And now the group that challenged that has it's still undergoing, but they're collecting the tolls and they put it in an escrow account to be spent later on all the projects we had. We had like $4.5 billion worth of projects. For most people, I think if they use precedent, we should win that lawsuit. This year we offered, because of the COVID situation, we saw this declining the gas tax. And we really don't know how long that's going to be, but less driving, less gasoline, less gas tax revenue, right? So we're looking at possibly about $600 million a year in California, declining revenue and gas tax. So what that could mean over time, if it continues, like it's basically based on unemployment. The employment rate hasn't really adjusted adequately at this point, and there's more work at home. I'm sure a lot of you do that, and less driving. So we have to look at SB1, and we introduced SB 1351, which would allow the state treasurer to issue $5 billion in revenue bonds to accelerate the SHOP program, which is the State Highway Rehabilitation and Repair Program. For projects that are already ready to go, they're pretty much clear for construction. And but unfortunately, the governor vetoed this bill. The governor vetoed that bill, 2 infrastructure bills that I was really concerned about. That one, I thought it was a mistake. He shouldn't have vetoed it. You should keep that in your toolbox to be able to use revenues, and construction costs are down. The interest rates on bonds is like less than 2% now. So I thought it was a mistake. He also vetoed that bill on accelerating the Anderson Dam project and some of the water projects. And I think that's going to hurt Santa Clara County. Also, we have our Measure S on the ballot, and it's for the water district to complete a bunch of their projects they need to do. The biggest one being the Anderson Dam project. And I'm committed to supporting that project. That's going to be very important to finish. And we need to keep the funding streams, federal, state, and local, going on that. And by making the project delay, of course, it's just going to cost more money, and it's a big project. So now, over my tenure as chair, I've introduced several other bills, other proposals. We authored A9, which provides a multi-year planning and allocation for the transit intercity rail capital program, TIRCP. You'll notice a lot of my bills focus on financing. So when I became chair, I said, oh, no, there just hasn't been anybody doing anything on figuring out how to pay for some of these projects. So my work as chair is noted by focusing on the financing of projects and getting the revenues for the projects. The other people build them, local, state governments, transit districts, build the projects. But my job was to put on the table legislation that financed the projects. Now, guess what? That's about the hardest type of work you can do. So very frustrating and tough work. Nobody thought we'd get SB1 passed, for example. It was like, oh, you're not going to do that. It's a pipe dream. But we worked for, 2.5 years. And I have a couple of very good staff people that worked on this with me to help political shortfalls be undone. And that's Manny Leon, who's a Senate Transportation Committee staff, and he's going to stay there. And Sunshine Barilli, who's my chief of staff, who's been working with me for 23 years, right-hand person. So those two helped get this measure passed and did a lot of the work, the grunt work to get the work done. We had over 500 people, 500 organizations support that SB1. And despite the opposition, and it was tough, they got rough on us, but we overcame them. Now, looking to the future, let's talk about that. I want to look at the pandemic and how it's affected transit districts. In the short term, transit will look differently. Sufficient state and federal resources need to be provided to keep our transit service at the level that meets the demand during and then when the pandemic experience is over. So they have to do things like enhanced cleaning measures. And of course, we have our measure RR that's on the ballot for Caltrain. And originally, RR was supposed to be to implement the business plan, which was to do all the projects and, you know, do some divided grade overpasses along the rail track between San Jose and San Francisco. But because of the pandemic and the revenue loss, I think for the first few years at least, RR will be mainly used to underwrite the loss in operational revenue. But overall, long term, it's really to implement the business plan to have 120,000 passengers a year on Caltrain. They have to clean the trains and get more passengers because Caltrain's about a 70% fare box in terms of the operating expenses. So when you look at these transit agencies, they're really getting hurt now on their operating budgets because of the loss of fare box revenue. The state and federal government needs to step in and provide enhanced funds for those projects and those agencies to keep their projects and operational budgets whole. Now, we're going to be looking at down the road next year, and I'm going to leave office. There's going to be an election to replace me. You might want to figure out which candidates are kind of have the same philosophy as me, which is to get, we're way behind. My view is like California and the nation is way behind in not only repairing and maintaining the infrastructure, but also building the new technology for the future technology. So I think we're kind of behind the times, and it's kind of based on just talking to members of my family. I have 9 brothers and sisters, 3 of which graduated from San Jose State Civil Engineering School and are civil engineers. My sister Mary is Caltrain's structural engineer. She does bridges and other projects up in Sacramento. And my brother Fred, he's a geological engineer, and he's in Hawaii working on geological engineering projects. His wife Diana is Hawaii DOT, and she's the construction manager for the Hawaii airports in Hawaii. And then my brother Michael is in Japan, and I got interesting talks with him about working on mainly airport projects and some transit projects to and from airports, high-speed rail, other kinds of projects. But he's also a master's degree at San Jose State in civil and mechanical engineering. So I get this perspective from them about sort of more of a worldwide view on engineering and construction. And really, to be honest about it, we're way behind. So my basic mission was to increase the level of funding, to have more construction and engineering of projects, to get the projects done efficiently, and finish the projects, all the projects at the state and the local level. So all those projects, the local level, we give a lot of money. SB1, about half the money goes to local governments, transit districts, streets and roads in the cities That includes all the street work that you see, including, we just heard about sewer lines, includes that kind of stuff too, underneath the streets if they have to take up the sewer lines. So I wanted to thank you, and I'm looking to the future. We're going to probably see a regional measure, mega measure funding proposal in the legislature next year. You'll probably see that. That will have to go to the Bay Area on the ballot. We'll probably see a new federal infrastructure plan. We hope to see something. Hasn't been much noise there over the last several years, about what they're doing, increasing the funding for infrastructure. And they're way behind. They're way behind. The federal government hasn't done anything really to fund the Highway Trust Fund in several years. And next year, they're going to be considering the reauthorization of the Highway Trust Fund. That's going to be a big issue at the federal government. It's a 5-year reauthorization. Now, the question is, are they going to increase the amount of funding for the Highway Trust Fund? If they don't, the Highway Trust Fund is losing revenue. They're spending more than they receive. So that fund will be in dire shape unless they increase funding. So that's a very important thing to lobby for at the federal level. And it doesn't really matter who the president's going to be, but I just want to say that to everybody, that we're concerned about the federal infrastructure. And of course, we need funding for our projects in Santa Clara County, the Anderson Dam project, the water system as a whole, various public works projects at the city level. Street repairs is always a challenge. Building the Caltrain, upgrading the transit system. And of course, my favorite, SB1 and the toll bridge put almost $2 billion into the BART to San Jose project. So I hope to see the final conclusion of funding for the BART to San Jose, into San Jose, and then up to Santa Clara. And we also need the high-speed rail to go through the Pacheco Pass from Merced, and there's a possibility of those kinds of things. And energy projects, we need energy, obviously. I don't know if any of you had your electricity turned off. I didn't, unfortunately, but I think that's an issue. There's a lot of infrastructure needs in California. I encourage the organization that you're in to continue to do that. I think the National Civil Engineering Organization does the grades. And let's watch that very carefully. I hope that the SB1, we can get a little better grade in California in terms of our road repairs and transit district. But I'm very worried about that right now with the COVID. I think the COVID, we have to figure out what's going to happen in the future. So I want to thank you for all your work. We're going to look at the future. It's going to be more environmental. People are going to buy electric cars. I just bought a hybrid. Is my going away present for leaving office for my wife. She says, now you're gone, I want you to buy your car. And I said, okay. And I got a hybrid that gets I think 52 miles per gallon. So cars are going to get more miles per gallon. Gas tax is going to go down. We have to have that revenue source long-term for road maintenance. And I think that's still going to be a problem that somebody's going to have to work out after I leave the state Senate. So I want to thank all of you for all the support you've given for all these things I've talked about. Every single time I've worked on these issues, your organization and the engineering and public works community has always supported me in my efforts. Without that support, we wouldn't have made any of these things happen. So I'm very excited to speak to you today, and just as a ending of my term, give you a big thank you for all your help. and it was tough and hard, and we had opposition. Boy, did we have opposition to a lot of this, but we fought it off and persevered. And thank you very much. I hope we have somebody that's willing to do that in the future as the legislature continues to deal with these issues. So thank you very much, Jason. And I'm glad to attend your meeting. Thank you very much for all your service to the communities you do. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator Bell. It was, you say it's a collaborative effort, but without your efforts, you know, we wouldn't have the money to build a lot of the projects that we do. So thank you for your support. And in fact, if you just hang on here a second, we want to see if I can get this to work here. If I can get this to work. Where's my cursor? There we go. As part of our 2020 awards program, we wanted to present you with an award as well, recognizing all of your support and thanking you. This is just a virtual one. Yeah. Rest assured, you'll get a real one in the mail at some point here soon. But we do thank you for your support and all your leadership and bringing the money for projects to our local region and representing
That's my job.
All right. Thank you so much.
To build the roads. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate that award. It was real nice of you to do that. Thanks.
All right. Next on our agenda, I think, is what we've all been waiting for. Let me just check here. Yes. Our next portion of our meeting is actually going to be our awards, believe it or not. And presenting all of the awards is our vice president of our chapter this year, Daniel Gonzalez. He's from the town of Hillsborough. And I'll turn it on over to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Senator Bill. That was very interesting and informative, and certainly we appreciate all the work that you've been doing over the many years you've been in the Senate. This portion of the program is about those of you who've tuned in and your projects. So we're very excited to present this. And without further ado, Jason, let's go ahead and work towards the 2020 awards program. Our first award that we would give out. Wait for the delay. I'm sorry, this is the rodeoed winner, of course. So congratulations. As we mentioned, the top two finishers, once again, City of Belmont. And we appreciate them hosting. And as we've joked about, we're going to have to find someone else to host occasionally so we can find someone else who can occasionally break into the top two. But once again, a very exciting event. And certainly for the operations folks that tend not to attend these meetings, this is really their opportunity to participate in APWA, and it is a very fun event. So congratulations, runner-up, Jamie Monag, City of Belmont. And Karen Cronin, City of Belmont. I know I saw at least Karen was on the meeting today, so we congratulate both of you. First place, Karen, unable, unfortunately, to send you to APWA, to the national conference, but I do know that there was an award that we picked up, and you will be receiving. So congratulations to both of you. Please, everyone virtually join me in congratulating both Jamie and Karen on their finish. All right, so we will move into the administrative award categories that are given out to members in the administrative portion of public works departments. And first up with the leadership award is Nancy Doan. Nancy is a senior management analyst at the City of Mountain View Public Works Department. Nancy absolutely knows the city's financial system and is super approachable, dependable, and responsive despite the need to support over 150 in various city departments. Nancy is also a good mentor. All these make her a great leader and a great asset for the city. Please join me in congratulating Nancy. The Award of Administrative Excellence, Maria Suzuki. Proactive, can-do attitude, and a great deal of positive energy are some of the attributes that Maria is associated with at the City of Pacifica Public Works Department Field Services Division. She is the ambassador of fun for the city. Congratulations, Maria. To the individual awards. Outstanding service in the private sector. Schaffenwiller, congratulations. Schaffenwiller was nominated by the City of Belmont for their outstanding work in the sanitary sewer easement rehabilitation project. Their engineers exhibited thoroughness in evaluation, provided effective and cost-saving solutions, and were responsive during construction. Congratulations, Schaffenwiller. Please join me in congratulating this excellent company. Moving along to the parks portion of our awards. The O'Donnell Park Playground Renovation Project of the Year, parks less than $2 million. The O'Donnell Park Playground Renovation Project is a perfect example of residents and city government working collaboratively to successfully enhance the quality of life for the community. The project scope included replacement of 2 playgrounds, fencing, benches, and installation of a shade structure. The neighborhood residents actually chose the components, style, and color of their playground. The playground equipment that was removed from the site was donated to a local youth volunteer organization, which installed the equipment at a remote Native American community in Northern California. 30 Bay Area high school students participated in the installation during a very rainy spring break trip to provide much needed play opportunities for disadvantaged youth. The playground renovations transformed a tired neighborhood park into a place of pride and gathering. Congratulations. Please join me in congratulating the project team. The next project is the Martin Luther King Jr. Park, Project of the Year for Parks, $2 million to $5 million. The Martin Luther King Jr. Park athletic field is among the most heavily used in the community. This high demand led to deteriorated soil and turf conditions, requiring the field to be closed 4 months of each year for significant refurbishment in order to make it playable and safe. The project installed synthetic turf and enables the field to be open for the entire year with a truer and safer playing surface. To allay any concerns and to make it clear that the city had the community's interests at heart, a series of public meetings were held during which the community was truly engaged in the design process. The resultant park is the best of all worlds, addressing citywide needs while also attending to the needs of the immediate neighborhood. Consulting and city arborists worked together to develop an innovative plan to protect the mature trees around the park perimeter with a 10-foot wide natural turf border surrounding the synthetic turf. Please join me in congratulating the entire project team. Moving on to the environmental project section. Our first project is the Permanente Creek Flood Protection Improvements, McKelvey Park Site, Project of the Year, over $25 million. The Permanente Creek Flood Protection Improvements, McKelvey Park Site is a dual-use regional facility which provides flood protection for properties in addition to recreational facilities. This detention basin is an integral component in the Permanente Creek watershed helping to protect 1,664 parcels from the 100-year storm event. The project enhances the outdated existing public park by modernizing the existing baseball park, providing a new community mini park, preventing trash from entering the creek, preventing roadway flooding, reducing future maintenance costs, replacing some aging city and private utilities, and providing opportunities for environmental enhancements and trail extensions. Construction challenges include depressing McKelvey Park by 20 feet in a constrained site bounded by roadways, residences, and a school. Roadways contain significant utilities, including a 24-inch water pipeline, which could not be moved, and overhead 12 kV electrical, which was undergrounded. Once again, please join me in congratulating the entire project team. Moving along to structures, the Rukanada Fire Station 3 replacement. Structures 5 to 25 million. Fire Station 3 is the first project to be completed that is part of Palo Alto's 2014 infrastructure plan adopted by the City Council. The new station sits harmoniously within the surrounding elements, while clearly identifying itself as a new civic structure for the city of Palo Alto. This station not only was designed and built to meet NFPA and building codes, but is as an essential services building having the capacity to be fully operational during and after a major disaster. Identifying sustainable and environment-friendly priorities early in the project and continuing these goals into construction allowed the station to receive LEED Gold certification. The station has enhanced the firefighters' quality of life, providing a safe and healthy living and working environment. The new station has optimized the fire department's emergency response times and daily operations, providing a public plaza, a bike repair station, and expanding the corner waiting area for pedestrians to safely wait and gather are just some of the many elements the station has incorporated to help improve the fire department's presence and partnership with the community. Project challenges included a small site surrounded by a dedicated park area with no room for expansion, building footprint limitations due to protected trees, and heavily circulated corridor site. Replacing a 70-year-old station that was structurally, operationally, and technologically deficient was a challenge. Please join me in congratulating the project team. Moving to the transportation section. Santa Clara SR2S pedestrian improvements. This was an honor award for transportation less than 2 million. The Santa Clara Safe Routes to Schools Pedestrian Improvements Project consists of the improvements at 4 schools in the city of Santa Clara. This project removed pedestrian mobility barriers through the installation of ADA ramps and increased roadway crossing safety by installing modern pedestrian beacon technology, rectangular rapid flashing beacons designed to properly warn drivers that pedestrians are crossing a roadway. The Santa Clara Safe Routes to Schools Pedestrian Improvement Project is a great example of how community input and participation can result in projects that provide direct benefit to citizens and stakeholders while also having environmental and health benefits for those involved. This project used school walking audit feedback to help select improvements that encourage more walking to school. Please join me in congratulating the project team. The North Access Road Pedestrian and Bike Improvements, Project of the Year for Transportation, less than 2 million. The project is the first protected bikeway in South San Francisco. In coordination with BCDC, the project provided improvements to both bicyclists and pedestrians to enhance the safety and convenience accessing the San Francisco Bay Trail. The project overcame challenging constraints such as limited budget, numerous driveway crossings, obstructed sidewalks, and a demanding delivery timeline. Effective solutions such as utilizing right-of-way for staging and tack-on medians kept construction short, while design features such as mountable medians and visual barriers will reduce damage and conflict in the future. Please join me in congratulating the project team. The Ralston Avenue Corridor Improvement Project segments 1 and 2, transportation, $2 million to $5 million. The project improves safety for all modes of transportation and makes Belmont a more walkable and bicycle-friendly city. This portion of the Ralston Avenue corridor was particularly challenging due to the location in Belmont's downtown area and its coordination with Caltrans and Caltrain. The project also required coordination with other stakeholders and agencies such as Samtrans, the U.S. Postal Service, PG&E, and a number of businesses. New improvements such as wider sidewalks and new ADA ramps help make the priority development area feel more like a downtown. The goal for the downtown is to have complete streets with intentional placemaking. The project also provided Belmont with 2 high-intensity activated crosswalk beacons, which were a first for the city. The Hawks provide safer crossing options and added connectivity to bike and pedestrian routes. The other major improvement constructed was a bicycle path through Twin Pines Park. Through coordination with Belmont's Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee and Parks and Recreation Department, a successful route was selected, minimizing environmental impacts. This new bike path gave cyclists the opportunity to leave the busy Ralston Avenue corridor and travel an alternate, safer route through downtown to the Caltrans station with less vehicles. The project made great improvements to the mobility network. Please join me in congratulating the project team. Moving to the utilities section, our awards program. First is the sanitary sewer easement rehabilitation project of the year for utilities, $2 to $5 million. This project included rehabilitation and reconstruction of 1.7 miles of sewer pipes using open trench and trenchless methods. The vast majority of the project took place in the difficult to access easements. Sewer mains to be rehabilitated crossed over 280 properties. Approximately 72 of these properties had access constraints and above ground obstructions over the existing sewer mains. Design and construction phases of the project required extensive coordination with property owners to determine the extent of obstructions and impact of the sewer rehabilitation on each affected property. The most challenging aspect of the project is working on the individual property owners to obtain the cooperation with the removal of the vegetation, trees, and to discuss the issue of permanent structures located within the sewer easements. Please join me in congratulating the entire project team. Moving along for the honor award, the First Street water line upgrade, utilities $5 million to $25 million. The First Street Water Utility Improvement Project included construction of more than 8,000 linear feet of a 24-inch water main along First Street in Gilroy. Challenges included maintaining water service to more than 125 services and fire hydrants, and to address the complexity associated with limited work hours. The project was constructed along a major thoroughfare in Gilroy under an encroachment permit from Caltrans. The original Caltrans permit required work hours to be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Once on board, the contractor and the city worked very closely with Caltrans to receive approval to allow early start of construction and nighttime and weekend work. The city developed a comprehensive community outreach and engagement plan, which included identifying stakeholders, conferring with businesses to identify specific issues, setting up and providing a construction hotline, developing and sending standard notification letters and postcards, door hangers to alert businesses and residents about upcoming construction activity, and developing and constantly updating content on the city's website and social media platforms. Please join me in congratulating the project team. Leong Drive Water and Sewer Main Replacement. Project of the year for utilities, $5 million to $25 million. This project faced many challenges during the design phase over a span of 4 years. Some of the challenges faced during the design included the inability to replace a sewer main across Stevens Creek without moving to a location that would have created a siphon or required a pump station. These new parameters would have created a nuisance for the adjacent development with potential odor and city maintenance accessibility issues. With staff's creative thinking, the reversal of the gravity sewer flow provides a much more reliable sewer system that eliminated a creek crossing. The engineering team's critical evaluation of the construction method provided the most conservative approach for the city to safely replace the sewer main and have the least impact to existing storm drains and potential damaging impacts to an existing hotel. The project also faced challenges with Caltrans, whom the city applied for an exception to install the sewer main via open trench, as the sewer needed to be replaced and the flow direction had to be reversed. Other challenges included getting approval for a variance from the Division of Drinking Water for less than a 10-foot separation between water and sewer mains. The project was completed smoothly and with the proper public communications and notifications. Please join me in congratulating the project team. The Sustainable Green section of our program. Latham Community Garden, Project of the Year for Sustainable and Green, less than $2 million. The project transformed a 0.8 acre underutilized parcel into an 84 raised garden beds, including 6 ADA accessible plots for residents to cultivate and grow their own plants and food. One of the greatest challenges on this project was maximizing the number of garden plots while also preserving the existing heritage trees located around the perimeter of the site. These trees cast significant shadows across much of the site during certain times of the day. The Latham Community Garden promotes sustainability and good health by providing residents with a place to grow their own food and plants. It also builds a tighter, more robust community by bringing residents with diverse backgrounds together under a common interest. Please join me in congratulating the project team. All right, the Wet Weather Flow Equalization Basin Project of the Year, Sustainable Green, $5 million to $25 million. The city of Pacifica constructed a 2.1 million gallon wet weather flow equalization basin in order to comply with the San Francisco Regional Water Quality Control Board cease and desist order to eliminate capacity-related sanitary sewer overflows by January 1st, 2019. The project consists of a buried multi-cell tank that was constructed with a 2-part wall system, including a slurry wall and cast-in-place liner wall. Wet weather flows are diverted to the equalization basin through a system of overflow weirs that passively divert excessive flows from the city's existing collection system to an influent conveyance pipeline. The basin was constructed within the parking lot of the city's community center, located immediately adjacent to single-family homes. Diversion structures and conveyance pipeline were constructed within a residential established neighborhood with numerous existing utilities requiring detailed design, investigation, and coordination. Pipeline installation methods include bore and jack, as well as open trench. Please join me in congratulating the project team. And as that's our last project, congratulations to all of you who've tuned in for this. All of these were wonderful projects, and I think everyone is worthy of congratulations. So thank you again.
Thanks, Daniel. Thank you for presenting. You can take a breath now. Appreciate it. And we've got some upcoming reminders, and I want to remind you too that if you stay on, we'll have our raffle of our what have I got going on here? Somebody's sharing their screen. Daniel. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Somehow there was miss on the PowerPoint, so I want to make sure that it was shared by to the audience that the project team for the Leon Drive project. So
Oh, okay. Do you want to go ahead and share that? Sorry.
I did, right?
I cut you short there. Go for it.
I can't find it no more.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Let me see if I can share it. No, I can't find it.
Okay, no problem. Well, thank you all for your awards and your great hard work on all the projects. We really appreciate it. There's some great ones there, and I'm sure some excellent projects also that were nominated or didn't quite get in the nomination this year. So keep in mind for next year, especially since we did it a little bit later than we normally would this year. You may have projects that completed early this year that will be eligible for next year's awards. Again, a reminder for next month, November 18th, that we'll have our roundtable for our closed streets, slow streets type event. We're still working on a title, but we'll get that notification out very soon with a Zoom link. And our raffle. I've got my coworker, Jason Yee, running a randomizing selector here to make sure we randomly select somebody that is attended today. So Jason, I don't know if you've been able to run that selector yet.
I have. As of right now, we have 74 participants, and I will run the selector and figure out which number is the lucky one. Obviously, board members are exempt, so if I pick somebody that's a board, and I guess Mansfield, you can let me know. The number is 63, so that would be Geo Blackshire. You there?
I'm here. I didn't expect to win that time.
That's the beauty of the randomness.
Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Can you do a do-over? I was just here to support the team that built the fire station, so I don't want to take the award. I just wanted to support them by being present. So if you can do a do-over, I would appreciate that.
I don't know, Mansfield. Are we allowed to do that?
I'm not sure we're allowed to.
Okay,
Oh,
I'll run
goodness.
another one.
Oh goodness.
We'll run it again.
Okay.
Thank you for your support. We do appreciate it.
No, absolutely. No, I really appreciate all the, it's really phenomenal to see all the work that's been done and everyone's commitment to excellence. So, I just wanted to, again, support the team that managed and the project for the fire station, and well deserved. So again, thanks, but I just wanted to for that. Thanks. That's hilarious. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the kind words. Okay, so next up we have another random number, 53, which would be Renee Crawford.
Hey, Renee, you there? Renee. If you're, let's see, we can't quite hear you.
Here, it's because my thing was up.
There we go. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You can send an email to our APWA email address, and we'll go ahead and make sure you get that gift certificate.
Great. Thanks.
Congratulations, and thanks again, everybody, for attending our 50th year awards event. It was a special one, different one, and congratulations again to all the award winners, and hope to see you all next month at November 18th meeting. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.